The Niners signed Joshua Dobbs to a 1-year deal, like $2 million, a lot cheaper than Sam Darnold. Darnold went to the Vikings. Dobbs went from the Vikings to the Niners. So kind of a swap. My dad and I saw Josh Dobbs in person together last season. He came to one game. I don't know if you guys know this. He came to the Cardinals game. We sat next to each other and watched Joshua Dobbs. And what you say, Dad?
Okay, here's what happened. I'll give you a little background. I haven't been to any kind of game in any sport professionally since I retired, which is almost 8 years ago. And I don't know, just one day I said to Iggy, I haven't been to a football game. It might be fun. Sit next to my son and watch a game. I wouldn't do it again, by the way. Once was enough. It was very nice to see some people there. And there were some people I realized I don't want to see anymore in the press box. So, but funny how that goes. So anyway, we're sitting there and, we don't take the Cardinals seriously. How could you last season?
Yeah.
And I'm watching this Joshua Dobbs, who I never heard of. And I don't even know the coach's name right now. But at one point I said to Iggy, this Joshua Dobbs is pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, I actually said, this guy's pretty good. And he was leading drives. He was completing a lot of passes over the middle, just sort of like Purdy.
Yeah.
And he was mobile. I mean, he wasn't, Patrick Mahomes, but he was mobile. And I also said, I think this coach is pretty good. He doesn't have a team, but he's actually competing. So what I feel about Joshua Dobbs is this. He's a good backup quarterback. I think it's an answer. Is he as good as Sam Darnold? I have no idea because I never saw Sam Darnold really play. He didn't do anything. I know he makes a lot of mistakes. Could Joshua Dobbs bring the Niners to the Super Bowl if it came to that? No, I don't think he could. But he could play a half. He could play a couple of games if Purdy were hurt, and he could win those games. So I think, all in all, I think they did well. What do you think, Iggy?
I think they did well. The more I think about this signing, I mean, let's talk about all the things Joshua Dobbs does well. He's mobile. He runs well. As a passer, he's decisive. He doesn't hold on the ball forever. He gets rid of the ball pretty quickly. He doesn't take sacks. He doesn't turn the ball over a lot. I mean, he did with the Vikings. He had one game with the Vikings where he threw 4 picks. But on the Cardinals, especially that day when we were there against the Niners, who had a good defense last year, he protected the football. He didn't beat himself. He gave the Cardinals a chance to win. He had them in the game deep into the second half.
Yes. Yeah.
So
he was a nice surprise. I never heard of him.
I remember feeling like, look, he's not as gifted as Kyler Murray, but he knows what he's doing as opposed to Kyler Murray. He seems like, go ahead.
He's more
prepared.
Football intelligent,
prepared, whatever you want to call it. Like Kyler seems like he's going out there and sort of winging it, and he's very athletic and he's very good. But Josh Dobbs isn't just going out there and winging it. He seems like he knows exactly what the game plan is and he's executing it. And he did beat the Cowboys last year. That was really impressive. So again, if Purdy goes down for 4 games, he seems like a good option.
Yeah, I think, you know what? I think they did well. I do. And I'm glad they did it now, as opposed to what we had last season with all the insanity, the circus atmosphere in training camp. Who's going to be the number 2 quarterback? There was more talk about who was going to be the number 2 quarterback than any other topic on the team, which is a team that's topsy-turvy.
Yes.
Yeah, and so they handled it. And I credit the 49ers. Seriously, I credit them for getting past this insanity.
Yeah, the whole Sam Darnold, Trey Lance competition was a distraction because once they decided that Brock Purdy was their guy, neither Sam Darnold nor Trey Lance mattered. And now, less than a year later, they're both gone. And what the Niners have is 2 backups who are very professional and are very under the radar. No one cares. No one cares what Josh Dobbs is going to do in practice, which is fine. He just gets to go and do his job. Same with Brandon Allen. No one freaking needs the Josh Dobbs, Brandon Allen update. They can just go be backups, and the story can be about Purdy, and starters. Not a
Okay,
sideshow.
and another thing we'll never have to hear about again, Iggy, the quarterback room.
Oh
No,
God.
the quarterback room. Remember last time Lynch, I think it was Lynch, and he meant well, was saying we have the best quarterback room in the league. Who cares? You
Yeah.
don't put a room on the field. You
No.
put a quarterback on the field.
Yeah.
So probably the quarterback room isn't as good, but
Right.
they have a good quarterback and a good backup.
Yeah. When you talk about the room, that means you're not so confident in the starter, right? And you're trying to
Yeah.
hedge your bet. Like, hey, sure, our starter's arm is falling off, but we got this other guy that we like too, and the third guy's great. There is a shortage of good quality quarterbacks in the world, but we have 3 of them, even though our first guy isn't. Yeah, it's like now Brock Purdy just set the franchise record for passing yards in the season. You don't need to hedge your bets anymore. You don't need a guy who's looking to get his career back on track. You just need a backup quarterback, and that's
Yeah.
what Josh Dobbs is.
So I all credit to the 49ers. That's how I feel.
Yeah, he's in his late 20s. He's not trying to get his jumpstart his career. He knows exactly what he is. He's perfect for the role, and he's cheap. He's like a quarter of the price of Sam Darnold. And I like a backup quarterback. I like any quarterback, but the mobility to me is important. Are you going to take a bunch of sacks? Can you run around? Can you make some plays? Because you're probably not going to be as good of a passer as a starter. So can you do something else? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Can we talk about that backup quarterback competition last year? That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
I know you got a lot of hits from that.
I did. It was fun to be snarky about because it didn't matter. Now I got to really work to get those hits next year. It's too bad.
We'll find something. Don't worry.